Haason Reddick hasn't missed any time since his thumb surgery just a couple of months ago, but he said yesterday things are about to change with his production on the field. The Eagles injury report yesterday came out. It's not looking very good. Are they even going to have a starting safety on Sunday? And Jack Del Rio calls out the Eagles and their offense. Philadelphia's defense needs to respond. I'm Thomas Mott. This is the Thomas Mott Show. Do you know how the Eagles had one of the superstar pass rushers in the league last year in Haason Reddick, who was number 2 in total sacks, only behind Nick Bosa? Well, he's been virtually non-existent through the first 3 games of the season, not recording a single sack. And while he has had a couple of pressures, Haason Reddick very clearly has not been himself at all. Now, he was practicing like most of the Eagles were yesterday. You see some of that video on your screen right now. But something was a little bit different. And if you don't know the situation with Reddick's thumb injury, you might not notice the fact that that cast he's been wearing, or the protective covering the last couple of months really at practice, was officially gone. And Haason Reddick told reporters yesterday it's about to make a massive difference in his overall play.
About this other day, but for your question, I'm not going to make any excuses. That's not what I do. But just, man, I'm extremely happy to be out of it. I will say that.
Now, like he didn't officially say, I'm playing bad because I had a thumb cast, but he said, hey, I feel a lot better without the thumb cast. I'm a lot happier without the thumb cast. And maybe the idea that using your hands was a lot harder with the thumb cast, hence why he wasn't having that much production, might have a little bit of truth to it. Maybe it doesn't, but my hope is Haason Reddick is right about the fact that he's about to start exploding onto the field, because Philadelphia Eagles defensive front has been really good, especially their interior pressure, having the highest overall graded defensive tackle in the entire league in rookie Jalen Carter. But make no mistake, they need more sacks. They're towards the bottom of the league right now in total sacks, and Haason Reddick, with a big goose egg beside his sack number, really needs to start rising if Philadelphia wants to continue to dominate teams, especially like a weak offensive line in the Washington Commanders. Reddick's too good, he's too young, and he's too cheap right now in his contract to not be producing, because the expectation is, 1, Philadelphia should have something close to 70 sacks last year, maybe not 70, but 50, 60, 63, that'd be nice. And 2, Reddick deserves to be one of the highest paid pass rushers in the National Football League based on his performance last year, so you'd want him to get as many sacks as possible this season in order to cash in this offseason. But again, 0 sacks through 3 weeks in, and he's starting to kind of fall behind some of the sack leaders throughout 2023. TJ Watt has 6, Danielle Hunter, he's up there with 5, Myles Garrett 4.5, Judon and Parsons sitting at 4. It only takes 1 game to get back on track, but if Reddick's thumb was the serious bother and a serious issue the first 3 games, maybe week 4 against the Washington Commanders could be his breakout performance we've been waiting for. Now, speaking of practice, there were notable people at practice yesterday and people who were not at practice yesterday. Here's Jeff McClain saying Sidney Brown, he was there, but he did not participate. You see the picture on your screen, no pads, just wearing the jersey. Justin Evans with that neck injury also was not there, and Devontae Smith is dealing with an undisclosed illness. I could not find the actual illness that they have not disclosed, obviously, but the expectation is, based on multiple reports, he will be able to go on Sunday, which is good news for Philadelphia because historically, Smitty has dominated the Commanders. Now, your limited participants were pretty normal. Fletcher Cox and Cam Jurgens with that groin, but Quez Watkins was back at practice, as you see here, coming off a hamstring injury that sidelined him for week 3. Now, I still think Olamide Zaccheaus should get the majority of the reps as that number 3 wide receiver, at least based on his touchdown performance on Monday night against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but Quez should still get some reps in order to hopefully showcase that speed that we keep waiting to break out amongst the other wide receivers. Worth noting, too, that Britton Covey with his hamstring and Zach Cunningham with his ribs, they were both good to go and 100% will be able to play. But most importantly is that safety spot, and the fact that Sidney Brown did not practice yesterday is a little bit concerning, because with it being Friday, the team is going to get ready for a Sunday afternoon matchup. You would basically need to know for a fact that he was going to practice today, at least maybe through walkthroughs, if Sidney Brown had a chance on playing on Sunday. If Sidney Brown can't go, Philadelphia is going to be very thin at one safety spot, and especially thin at the backup nickel cornerback spot, because Bradbury, if he were to go down, they don't have a lot of people to fill in there because that was Sidney Brown's position. One good note for practice, how about Jake Elliott, who's widely being considered at least a top 2 kicker in the NFL behind Justin Tucker, although he's been more accurate from 60 yards recently than Justin Tucker. He hit a 70-yard field goal at practice yesterday, according to Ed Krantz. It was wide left first, but then maybe a little bit short, followed up by drilling a 72-yarder. So I guess missed from 70, then hit from 72. Keep that in mind as the Eagles know his range, especially in Philadelphia. If they needed a long kick, a kick to win it, they might not have to get as far down into opponent territory if LA keeps banging 72-yarders. Now, as far as that Commander game happening, we'll talk more about that in just 1 second. First, though, how about my bet of the week with our friends at DraftKings? DeAndre Swift's over-under for rushing yards, 64.5. He's had over 130 his past 2 games, and now I know the Washington Commander front is pretty good, but James Cook had a decent game last week with the Buffalo Bills. I would smash the over here on DeAndre Swift if I was you. I'm going to go ahead and do that. If you don't have a DraftKings account, I got a link down below right now where you sign up, bet $5, you get $200 in free bonus bets. Now, besides DeAndre Swift versus that run defense, one of the big matchups to go ahead and watch is the Eagle front 4 and getting pressure on quarterback Sam Howell. Right now, Sam Howell's been sacked 19 times in 3 games this season. I think he was sacked 9, 10 times last week against the Buffalo Bills. While Philadelphia's defensive line has been impressive, they've been dominant. As mentioned at the beginning, Haason Reddick, Josh Sweat, they don't have a lot of sacks. This could be that breakout game where they get a bunch of them to kind of pad those stats and get back into kind of the acknowledged high sacking team amongst the NFL. Remember, it was this time last year, I believe it was week 3, they played Carson Wentz and the Washington Commanders, and they had double-digit sacks of him, maybe more to come in a preview against Washington on Sunday. One of the main reasons why Philadelphia's defensive line is still being dominant despite the sacks is the Jalen Carter effect, which we need to start acknowledging is a very, very real thing, because Brandon Graham said yesterday, the fact that Carter and Jordan Davis are balling is putting the fountain of youth on guys like himself and Fletcher Cox. Listen to this, quote, "I see Fletch balling with those guys on his butt. When they win, you win too. It's about being unselfish. I had my time. I love being able to pour into these guys." BG says he's staying fresh. I'm an ace in the hole. Says he wants to win another Super Bowl. And he also would talk about how the fact that Jalen Carter came into camp in such good shape, so ready to work, and is seriously looking like a young Aaron Donald, it pushes guys like Fletcher Cox to be even better. And Cox has been pretty darn good, despite the lack of overall stats like sacks in his stats here in 2023. It goes to show you that Jalen Carter has done more than just for defensive tackles in the NFL or defensive tackles for Philadelphia. He's motivating everybody on that defense. The fact that Philadelphia was able to get a guy who literally was, left for the hounds in the first couple of picks because nobody wanted to touch him. They were worried about him not being motivated, not being in shape, falls to number 9, and really good teams like the Lions passed up on him, bad teams like the Bears who could have used him passed up on him. The fact that he ended up in Philadelphia and is now looking like the runaway defensive rookie of the year, besides maybe Christian Gonzalez, the runaway defensive rookie of the year, Eagle players and Eagle veterans are taking notice, and Eagle fans love it too. Thumbs up for Jalen Carter. Now, the brotherly shove has been getting a lot of negative criticism over the past couple of days, really past 48 hours. And defensive coordinator for the Commanders, Jack Del Rio, he kind of hates it. Listen to this.
Well, it's not being officiated as illegal, so we just have to prepare for it. I would personally like to see it eliminated, not just because they run it better than anybody, although they do run it better than anybody, but I don't think that's a football play. I think it's a nice rugby play. And it's not what we're looking for in football. But until it's outlawed, we'll prepare for it and get ready to do our best to stop it.
It's not illegal, but it's really hard to stop, aka we don't know what we're going to do. We're going to get run over on 3rd down and 1 and 4th down and 1, and we're upset about it because we can't stop it. Welcome to basically every defensive coordinator's answer every time they play Philadelphia from here on out. You're going to hear this. Well, it's legal, but it's really bad and really unfair. Okay, well, I guess Eric Bieniemy and that savvy offense of the Commanders could try to run it themselves if they wanted to. Oh, wait, but the rest of the league doesn't run it, so I guess it's not the Eagles' fault. They're the only ones who are actually good at it. I expect the Eagles to run it early, often, and a lot against the Washington Commanders, not only just with DeAndre Swift, but also the tush push, the brotherly shove. Get as many first downs, piss off the opposing team. They get a dub here to go to 4-0. It's a massive difference, especially if some other teams slip up in the NFC East, like Dallas taking on Mac Jones and the Patriots. Philadelphia could be poisoning themselves for a nice pad early on in the division race. There will be plenty more stuff happening in the next couple of days and weeks, including a live show, obviously the live watch party, the play-by-play, happening at about 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time on my channel and on Josh Davis's channel as well. We're going to give you the full broadcast of the Washington Commanders versus the Philadelphia Eagles, as well as our jersey giveaway. A bunch of you guys have already signed up. If you want to win your choice of a midnight green or black Philadelphia Eagles jersey, maybe a Jalen Carter one, maybe a Jordan Davis one, maybe Jalen Hurts, join us for the live stream. We'll be giving that away during the end of the 3rd quarter, so of course, thumbs up and subscribe for that. I'm Thomas Mott. It's been a great week. Excited for a chance to go 4-0. Give me your score predictions down below for Eagles and Commanders. I think Philadelphia gets their biggest win of the year in terms of point differential. I think 27-17 is where I'm feeling right now, maybe a little bit more. I think Philadelphia gets a big win here. I think they win by double digits. I'm thinking maybe 28-17, 27-17. I think it's going to be double digits. And if that's the case, Philadelphia 4-0, maybe the rest of the league starts giving them even a little bit more respect than they got after their Monday night win against the Bucs. I'm Thomas Mott. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.